Hello and welcome to Media Academy Online. First of all, apologies for the beard. I'm in lockdown, so I can't really get a trim. Now, the internet is blowing up, all talking about this ban of Fortnite on the App Store. I'm going to discuss it from more of a business point of view, because to really understand what's happening here, you need to understand the business behind it. So let's get started. So the internet has been blowing up about Apple banning Fortnite from their App Store. And I'm sure you've heard about it already. As you would know, Fortnite has been on the Apple App Store for a very long time. I personally remember playing Fortnite at work on a Mac. But this debate isn't about a Mac, because the Mac, created by Apple, is a completely open platform, and anyone can create whatever they want for that platform. This is only referring to the App Store. So any platform that has the App Store and only the App Store is where it becomes an issue. So what exactly happened? So Fortnite created an update which allowed a new way of getting in-game currency. So you can purchase things like skins and other things within the game. But that in itself isn't the issue. There are many games on the App Store which allows you to buy various different things with various different currencies built within the games. The issue is they built a new way of bypassing the App Store, so all of the money goes straight to Epic Games. None of it actually goes to Apple. And this goes against Apple's terms when you create a game for the App Store. So Apple in turn went ahead and removed this app from the App Store. It doesn't mean that it isn't accessible to people who have already bought it. They still have access to it. But that in itself is only half the story. Apple straight away put out a press release discussing their point of view and what went wrong. In turn, Epic Games also sent out their own press release, followed by a lawsuit. But there's one thing you must understand about this, is that this didn't just happen. This was actually orchestrated. You see, this would have been getting planned for a while, and they knew that this would get them kicked off the App Store. This is one big company trying to strong arm another big company. So it's not just big bad Apple doing big bad things. It's one company that is actually going out of their way to break the rules so that they can get their way. And this happening right now isn't a coincidence. You see, the US government are actually looking into antitrust laws with all the big tech companies. And that brings us back to this App Store. They like to use the word antitrust, saying they're breaking antitrust laws. Now the internet is going crazy, attacking Apple and saying they've gone too far this time and that they need to change their rules, where they take a cut of all this in-app purchases. A lot of games these days are actually free, so people aren't actually paying to download these apps. So if Apple didn't take a cut of this in-app purchases, they would effectively make no money. And in turn, they wouldn't be able to keep running the App Store the way they do. They put a lot of time and effort into the App Store, and they make sure they do curate it and make sure that every app that goes on there is safe and stable. But there is also other players here too. There's also the consoles, which also sit somewhere very close to the App Store as well, where they have full control of what goes on their platforms. So this isn't just Apple on their own. There's other platforms that are very similar that are also walled gardens and have a lot of restrictions within them. So when you go and pay for this in-app purchase, you look at two things. They have the Apple price, but they also have their price. But there is a very important issue, and this is the biggest issue and probably the biggest downfall that Epic Games could have done. You see, Apple takes a 30% cut on any purchase on their platform, which is pretty much the same as all of the other comparable players. Epic Games only reduced their price by 20%, which meant they were trying to get a 10% additional income. They weren't giving Apple any of the money. They weren't giving them anything. And that is the biggest issue. And that is personally the reason why I don't think they will win this lawsuit. I think it was more about trying to paint Apple as the bad player and get public opinion against them. Unfortunately, I think this whole campaign that they've constructed from the ground up, it's all about attacking Apple. But this discussion is more about an industry rather than a company. To understand this a bit better, we need to really make the distinction. And this distinction is with what we're all used to, going to the shops and buying a product from the store. There is really no difference. Apple are offering a platform, along with plenty of other players in this space. You see, they've got their own store, but so does pretty much every other tech company out there. Google, Amazon, Microsoft, they all have their own platforms. and they all work within their own rules and restrictions. And with this all being orchestrated prior to this, that they're trying to bamboozle Apple with, this practice that Apple are doing is no different to anyone else. For example, imagine I had a product I wanted to sell, and I decided to walk into your local shop, and I stood in the store and I started screaming at the top of my lungs, "Come and buy my product. It's a great product, you're gonna love it, but you're not gonna go pay it at the store like a normal person will. You're going to pay me here with my own payment system." What I'm doing is I'm taking advantage of what someone else has created. Someone else has spent the time to create an audience, to create a platform, to create customers where people can go and trust that they're going to get a good product and a good service. And all shops also get a cut of those products because that's how the system's built. And for me to walk in and take advantage of someone else's private space and try and get those customers without actually paying for it is exactly what Epic Games is trying to do. They're trying to win over the consumers who are young and haven't necessarily done their research. And they're trying to blame it on Apple, like they were the ones to kick them off their platform. They were mean and nasty and kicked us off, when effectively they knew this would happen. So they're using all of their players as effectively pawns in this. And so the only people who lose out on this are the players, because these rules are created for a reason, to create a marketplace that is secure and safe for everyone. It's not just about trying to withhold and take some of the money, even though that's part of it, but that is also part of the business model. All the other stores that exist do it too. A lot of them, as you can see here, have higher prices than Apple do. Both this inquiry that's underway with these big tech companies and the law system, they're going to struggle to understand the nuances and the differences and similarities of the digital landscape versus the brick and mortar landscape that we're all used to. If you think about your local gaming store, you can walk into the local shopping centre and visit. It's like Epic Games walks into one of those stores and says, "You're going to sell my product. You're going to sell it on your shelf, but we're taking all of that money." That's effectively what they want to do here. And of course, the people who own that shop are going to say, "Get out," because they've put their money forward and they've put all their time, and all of their staff and all of their business is built around that. The App Store didn't just happen, it didn't just appear. They created it, they developed it over time and made it safe, and they have to spend a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of manpower to check that every single app, millions of them, get checked before they go onto the store. And so a lot of people see that as power. But the other side of that is that they're just trying to create a safe and secure experience for everyone. If you think about an issue you might have on a computer, viruses, malware, and all the other things like that, that's what happens when you have a free-for-all platform. So Apple are trying to avoid that. And it's not just Apple. Plenty of other platforms are also following this business model. PlayStation, Xbox, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and a ton of others, as you can see here, also go by this exact model. And they're trying to make the best and most secure platform possible. And since Epic put all the time into creating both the lawsuit, but also in addition to that, they created this whole social media campaign that was meant to mock Apple, but also trying to sway public opinion. These people won't understand the nuances here, and they won't understand that this exact business model is actually something that they all use every day. They use that on the Xbox and the PlayStation stores. There's rules and restrictions about what can go on there and how it operates. So before you jump to the conclusion that Apple are the bad guys here, they're doing nothing different to all of the other players out there. Not only that, they're doing the exact same thing that every single business, every single store that has existed for hundreds and hundreds of years are doing. They're making sure there's a place that is safe for everyone. Yes, they want to make some money, but that is business. That is how business works. So I'm not against Apple in this. They followed their rules as they should have. The one thing you could debate though is removing it without really talking to them about it first. Was that a bit harsh? Potentially, and maybe they probably should have sat down behind the scenes and discussed it first, or at least given them the option to fix this in the first place. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'd love to know what your thoughts are, so make sure you leave a comment down below. Make sure to be polite and nice about this. Other than that, I'll see you in the next video. See you later.